Welcome back to the Rainbow Six Siege Masterclass. Today I'm going to teach you how to set up every single bomb site on Outback. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting off with Piano Laundry Room. We're going to get the main breach done first. Once the main breach is done, we want to come into Laundry and get both of the walls facing out into the piano hallway. Once that's done, we want to get rid of the fan because that is very annoying, but we want to get this single wall facing towards B bomb on the right hand side of Laundry, and then we want a rotation on the left. Crouch rotation as small as possible so you can fit through and still see out. You shouldn't be able to run through it, so it forces people into a bad position when rotating, i.e. the enemies. We want to reinforce both of the shower walls. Now, contrary to belief, a lot of people like to leave this open, or at least one side, sorry. But this is actually not as effective as a lot of people think. It doesn't allow your team to play in this area and hold them from crossing through the breach. Now, we do want to reinforce this single right-hand side laundry wall, and then we want to get up onto the top of the washing machine. Oh, that was a mouthful. And then shoot out the top portion of this wall. So we have a peek onto the main breach and a peek onto the window, but we do not want to take out more than 2 planks across, as it will lose cover. But we do want it 3 planks across on this side. That's why we shoot it at an angle from the top of the laundry machine. So we can freely peek the breach, and then if we are stepped further back and to the side, we're less exposed or completely not exposed visually to the breach, and we're able to peek the window. Alright, moving on. The next single reinforcement we'll need to place is here, right next to the B bomb. Now, we do want to leave this entire wall soft as it has use, but we also want to open up a reasonable sized hole to be able to peek through out into the games and then swing wider on the boxes, providing that there's no one on shark side, to the window. Now, we do want to use our last reinforcement right here on the games wall in the left side. Once that's done, we want feet holes across everything here, like so, and feet holes from pretty much where this poster is, a little bit across, like that. So it makes it very hard for them to walk into picnic or even consider pushing this area, but it also allows the person playing on the B bomb, maybe it be in his army, that is able to look out into these areas with a little bit more of the wall removed. It's probably jumpable now. Being able to see out to the footholes from the bomb and be able to get these nice angles into these areas. Also makes anyone swing in the door able to see if there's anyone behind the ball holding a head angle. And yes, it could be very easy for them to open this up, but then they'll be crossing into a no man's land, so that is why we have this reinforced, because this area is much easier and much more open now to take. We want to be able to control this point in the map much better. We're also going to want the hatch open. Alright, next up we have Party Room. And it is one of my favorite bomb sites in the entire game just because I can pop the balloons. Like, let's be honest, like, telling me that this isn't satisfying? This is like game ASMR for your brain. It's just, it's fun. You know, it's a little bit of aim training when the round starts. Can't tell you how many times that I've not done reinforcements that are necessary. There is a lot of fans in this room I've never noticed. All jokes aside, we want to start off by reinforcing the single wall in the middle right of the quad. Once that's done, we want to open up onto this sort of red line here, holes across the top of the wall. Once that's done, we also want head holes across this wall, and then we want to reinforce the last 3. Once that's done, we're going to want a rotation between the bomb sites, as small and as skinny as possible. Now we're going to want to reinforce this single wall into the garage and then create a rotation so we can freely move between the connector and the garage. Now we do want to leave a portion of this soft, so it makes it very difficult for people to sit and hold an angle into the connector without being able to be overexposed, so you can shoot through the wall and remove the threat. But we also will probably want a deployable shield to hold this correctly. We want to get the main breach as well. Once we've got the main breach, we want to run over into office and just open up holes across the bottom of this entire wall. Doesn't have to look pretty, just get it done. Now we also want this hatch open. Now we only want to reinforce one of these walls, and the other one we want feet holes on. Alright, once that's done, we want to get our second to last reinforcement down over here. on the party hall wall, and we want some holes so we can see onto the shark stairs. Some people like to use this to be able to hold down to the main entrance. That is personal choice. Now, you can utilize this last reinforcement to lock off garage if garage falls. And now I do recommend that you at least save that reinforcement for the inevitability of them potentially having that control of garage. Now, also, you could use it on this wall here. Stop them from being able to just crouch walk into the site, but they can also just vault up and open this wall and get into the site. That's why we have this angle opened up over here. So you can have a guy vault up onto the party tables and just see straight onto that point and have cover and choose when to peek. Also can peek into ball. Alright, now we're on to master bedroom. We want to start off by coming over to the closet and opening up feet holes across the bottom of the entire wall. Alright, once you've got feet holes opened up across the entire bottom of closet wall, we want to create a rotation between the sites. Once that's done, we want to come over to here and make another rotation. And then reinforce this single wall in the hallway. Now you will most likely want a mirror to be put on this wall and hold the mirror. And then be able to swing and look into the other site. Now, speaking of the site, we want feet holes along the bottom of this wall. And we want to reinforce the single side of the wall. Now you can place another mirror on this wall, but it is pointless, especially if they're able to pop it or get rid of it. So it's best to just leave this wall solid. And we want to come all the way over to reception. Get rid of that goddamn annoying radio. And we want to open up the side of the wall so it cannot be thermited, but it also shouldn't be rotatable unless you need a rotation here. And we're going to want to get both of these walls. Now also to bear in mind, if a thermite charge is placed close enough to one of these sides, or on the inside or the other side, it can still get a small portion of the wall. To avoid that, you do have to make it more open and therefore rotatable. So just be aware that there are swings and misses with that, wins and losses, so to speak. Alright, there's one more rotation. Just need to remember to do it on the site. Like this. Make sure you have a rotation so your guy over here can swing and see into the hatch drop area if needed. If you do not want that to be visible, you just open up the rotation smaller on this side, but still so you can have someone rotate around this point if you need. Let's move on upstairs now to the reinforcements we need to put upstairs. We need to get both of the main breaches for dorms. Both of the shower walls. One of the piano walls. And we do actually leave the hatch soft on this site, as the closet that they would drop into is a kill box, and there would be a castle or a mirror set up somewhat to hold the downstairs area. So this is not actually necessary to put a reinforcement, but we will want a rotation in the middle of the wall so we have access to laundry, and we want this single wall reinforced so we can have someone playing with their back to this wall holding laundry in a full back situation. And we want the rotation to be somewhat in the middle of the wall or right up against the reinforcement. And the same as last time, we want some head holes and some feet holes across these walls. Obviously all the way to the other side. Just because I don't have enough shotgun shells, we also want some feet holes on this side of the wall as well. So feet holes across here and here, to make it very difficult to push these areas. You can extend these feet holes as long as you want across the bottom of the wall, but as there is a table that is here, it has less effectiveness going further across. Alright, the last bomb site of the day is going to be kitchen and mechanics. We're going to start off by creating 2 rotations in this wall, one on either side. Small and crouchable, and reinforce the wall in the middle. Alright, once that is done, we want to hop into the mechanic shop and get both of these walls reinforced. Once this is done, please make sure to shoot this jukebox at all times. Any time in the damn game, just shoot this damn thing. It covers footsteps like tomorrow doesn't exist, I tell ya. Get this single wall for restaurant, so someone can play behind a bar, maybe a Jaeger, slap down all 3 ADSs. This is a good position to hold as it locks down a lot of area. Now we want to roll all the way over to reception. And we're going to want to actually have this as an extension of the site. We're going to want to reinforce both of these walls and then this wall over here. Once that's done, we want to have a bolt rotation on one side and head holes across. So we can utilize this area to peek out into lobby and out into the hallway. Alright, now we can head on upstairs for our final 3 reinforcements. There's no point reinforcing the soft garage wall. If they get into this corner, they have a brick wall for cover anyways. It's not worth making them waste time. You will want feet holes across this wall. And you will want to reinforce this double wall in the connector upstairs. And you will want a rotation into garage. And between party and office. And you will want some high head holes on the top of this wall, so you can peek from the picnic table and get the hatch for sight. So that's done. We also will want a little bit of head holes across this wall. And some feet holes into party and games to make them not feel comfortable with holding this door. And again, a couple of holes facing down to Shark Stairs. Now we do not have enough reinforcements to reinforce this, so be aware that you can just be wall banged on this door. I do hope this masterclass video was helpful. As always, links to 5 will be in the description if you want one-on-one coaching. And as always, have a great day.